Ryan! Hello. Crystal! Hello. How are you, Ryan? Jordan! I was typing super fast and I misspelled triggered on... I don't even know where it is now. Oh well. Fuck perfect, right? If you're triggered that I misspelled triggered, then this is the perfect space for you. Perfect. Happy Monday, y'all. That's new. And not common. You know, you can always text me later about it. Michaela, welcome in. Jamie, welcome in. Thank you for the likes. For show, for show. Okay. So our topic today is when you're triggered, you're remembering. Not broken. Miss Holly. Or not failing. Stickers. Oh, these are new stickers. Or maybe they're just, I'd never seen them before. Welcome in, everybody. Let's see what that does. Just G, welcome in. Thank you. Oh yeah, the orange. Okay, that orange arrow is new. James, welcome in. If you're new here, thank you. Miss Holly. Miss Holly, Holly. We're gonna give it a few minutes. Mason, what's up, Mason? You guys, I took out my dreads so I could wear my hair down more. And I literally only wear my hair up still. Miss Madeline's in the house. Dawn just asked about you, Madeline. Tara's in the house. We got the whole crew in the house. Let's go. Just G, do you want, is that what you want me to? Just G, do you want, is that what you want me to call you, or do you want me to call you something else? Dawn, welcome. Mary Rose, I'm on now. Are you loving the vibe here already? Mary, welcome in. Oh, I cut out. I just said, is that, do you want me to call you Just G? 1, 2, 3? Do you want me to call you something else? Thank you for the heart, me, Dawn. I appreciate you. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you, Jordan. I think Jordan's great too. Georgia, whatever, whatever you want. I'll call you. I was gonna be sassy, but I'm not gonna be sassy. Okay, I'll call you Georgia. Or actually, I'll just call you G. You can call me whatever you want to. Beautiful motherfuckers. That's all I'm gonna call you. Each and every one of you. I love sassy. Where's my log? Names are important to me. You can ask everybody here. I fuck them up royally, but they are important to me and I do try. Okay, it might be me. Nettie, welcome. Happy Monday, Miss Madeline. Yeah, I might be the problem, Jordan. Social media. Oh my god, I need my life together. Content? No. 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 Where are you? I'm trying to find something really fast, y'all. Is it better, Jordan? Oh, I think it's in here. No. Okay, we found it. So, ba. Okay, cool. Oh no! Gee, I'm so sorry. That was like a sincere, like, G. I was calling you G, not like, oh, G. Oh, poor babies. Okay, so adding just G123. We're gonna call her Sassy Pants, and we're just gonna call her G. Cause she's an OG. Welcome in, Mom. Did you give that little baby kisses for me? Okay, love you, Mom. What's the topic? Joe, welcome in. It is when you're triggered, you're remembering, not failing. We're going to talk about triggers tonight. This is why it says I'm triggered. I'm not having anybody in the box tonight. But you're more than welcome to hang out. Matt's in the house. Welcome in, Matt. Hello, hello. She's a rescue dog. She's triggered. Okay. Let's go. Do you, Madeline? That's funny. And I love talking about triggers because it's such like a... The last few years it's been like a hot word. We use safe and triggered a lot, which have been really triggering words. So it's perfect. Wait, daycare? Oh, is it morning there, Matt? Madeline, I get triggered when Art Wednesdays turn into Emotional Thermal Wednesdays. Oh shit, it's tomorrow there, huh, Matt? Oh, that's so weird. Matt's living in the future. Really, Ryan? I love that. That are brought to the surface of things that develop character. Joe, I love triggers, and triggers are not a bad thing. I think they get such a bad rap, which is why we're diving into them today. Matt is down under. Okay, we're gonna get started. We're gonna take 3 deep breaths. Welcome to Mental Monday. I almost said Wednesday. I am Coach Amber. I am a connection coach, and what the fuck does that mean? That means I help people learn how to connect to themselves and others, especially after trauma. Especially after trauma. I help them do that through emotionally focused therapy coaching and somatics and holistic nutrition and a bunch of other awesome tools. Okay, so is it glitching? I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm on the right internet. PBR. Yeah, I'm on the right internet, so I don't really know what else to do. Just let me know. If y'all miss something, what else to do, just let me know. If y'all miss something and it feels important, or just ask me to repeat it. Thank you, PBR. Okay, so every Monday here, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, we have Mental Mondays. We talk about different topics. Just a real quick shout out to my mods. We have Jordan, we have Holly, and we have Tara. It's me in the chat. They are fucking phenomenal. Okay, so if I'm glitching and you have a question, if I miss something, if y'all need help in the chat, just let them know. They'll take care of it. They have my back. They have your back. They're amazing. So I trust them to take care of everything that's going on in the chat. So y'all don't worry. They got us. Okay? Second thing is we have a Discord group and it's free. You could join it. Most of these amazing people in here are part of it. It's just a community of learning how the fuck to connect and being human. It's a non-judgmental place where there's cool people and we talk about cool shit. So be a part or don't. It's cool. Whatever. Okay. If you're new here, put a 1 in the chat because we want to give a shout out to y'all. I think I saw some new faces here. Definitely 2. Even Dawn's in the Discord. Yes, I think just, G, you've been here before. I've seen you, but pretty new, yeah. And I think Joe is here. Joe, I could be wrong, but, I I think you're new as well. But welcome in. Before we hop in, just letting the newbies know that I have a free 30-minute breakthrough call. My goal is to create 500 breakthroughs this year for people like you, because we want 2025 to be your year. And I want to help you get to wherever the fuck you want to go. So take advantage of that. It's, again, a free 30-minute call with me, and we help work through some shit. So that link is in my link tree. Okay, so tonight we're talking about being triggered. And we often talk about trigger in such a negative way. And Parascooter! It is, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Being triggered doesn't mean you're unstable, although it can fucking feel like it. Me too, Paris! Paris has her breakthrough call tomorrow. It means your body is doing what it learned to do to keep safe. Okay, so when you get triggered, it's not even about that moment. It's not even about whatever the fuck happened then. Okay, right in that moment. It's something that happened in the past, and it just is your body remembering. Right, welcome to the club, Jay. This is the home of the hyper independent group. We're learning how to undo that. Okay, so tonight we're not fixing, we're getting curious. We're not fixing, we're getting curious. What I have been seeing, a huge pattern in all the spaces in my own life, people that I talk to, all the fuck over TikTok, coaches everywhere, are teaching people how to avoid triggers versus how to understand them and work through them. Okay? A trigger is not a bad thing. A trigger is an alarm system from your body saying, hey, I don't feel safe right now. So it's time to get curious, not shut down. Now, that's easy to say, to get curious and not shut down. That's a process. Yes, a trigger is an awareness, it's a shift, something is happening. Okay, so the science behind it is, we're going to talk about the amygdala, which is the threat detector, okay, which fires instantly. Emotional pain equals danger. It can't tell the past from the present, okay? And when we're talking about this, so the amygdala, aka your alarm system, this is the part of your brain that constantly is on lookout for danger. Okay, especially emotional danger. It's like a smoke alarm, loud, fast, and not always accurate. It doesn't care if the fire is from a real house burning down or just burnt toast. It reacts the same. This is why you see this trend all over TikTok. I don't know the difference between, what are some of the things? Like, I don't know the difference between being held at Pew Point and my kids talking to me all at once. Okay, how life is triggering. You're gonna avoid life. I gotta control them. But it's not about control either. Yeah, accept, take care of them, not control them. Yes, people in the chat, let's go. One of the big things is, okay, control. I love that you said that, G, because most of us here love control because it's how the fuck we've kept safe in the past. Or perceived to keep safe, okay? So I love that you said that because it's a huge awareness to bring up, is that we try to control them. We try to manage them. If you look at a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the things, the spaces we go, I want to say this very clear. Keeping yourself safe and avoiding triggers are two different things, okay? And I'm not going to talk a lot about this today because we've talked about this in the past. If you have questions about it, message me, because it is essential to understand the difference between safety and uncomfortable, okay? So being triggered is different than being unsafe, okay? I want to make that super clear. So in the container of what we're talking about tonight, we're talking about being uncomfortable. Okay. So when you get triggered, it's because your amygdala sensed something familiar from the past. Okay? It's remembering. And when, we've been here, protect yourself. We got to keep ourselves safe, okay? What I want to validate right here, right now, in this moment is that, one, you're not overreacting. Your body just hit the panic button. It makes sense, whatever happened to your body. Okay? Welcome in, Megan. Yeah, because some of us have never gotten that, G. Justin, welcome in. You're not too much for getting triggered. Okay? You are not too much for getting triggered. That's not the real issue. Okay? I just want to validate that tonight because there's a lot that goes into this, but what happens to you for a reason. And so we want to get curious, and we want to understand and allow and validate what is happening to us. Yes, 100%, Matt. Triggers are a normal human experience. Oftentimes, I think we forget we're fucking human. I think a lot of creators, and I think a lot of spiritual people and therapists and counselors and doctors forget that we're fucking human also. Triggers do not just, they can, yes, stem from trauma. But it's just our alarm system. I'm having difficulty identifying the feelings behind the activators. So you mean why you get triggered? Say I see a tree and it makes me angry. You want to know why the tree makes me angry? Is that what you're saying? You're trying to understand the feeling behind the anger? Thank you, Matt. I have never in my whole life felt safe. I can't imagine how feeling that would be. Welcome to a space where you can test and tiptoe into vulnerability to feel safe. Gee, that's what we fucking do here, because you know what? You're surrounded by people that have never experienced safety either. And we're learning how to create that. That's why I love this space. That's why I created this, is because I had never understood what the fuck safety meant either. And especially if you experience trauma from a very, very young age, you were programmed that safety equaled pain. Safety equaled abandonment. Safety equaled abuse. I think rage is just huge anger. Like, I think it's anger that's been festering and hasn't been honored. And I don't think rage or anger is bad. I think it's the beginning of a grief process. What is safety? Legit question. Beautiful question. To me, how I identify and the way that I see safety, there is mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, safety. For me, that means being seen, heard, and valued and validated. Those equal safe to me. If I'm seen, heard, valued, and validated, to me, that equals safety. And that means when I'm saying I'm seen and heard, that means I'm not judged every time I open my mouth, right? Okay, let's see. I'm definitely one that hasn't either, but I definitely practice vulnerability. And here's the huge thing. Also, where are we practicing vulnerability? If we're practicing vulnerability in spaces that are not safe, with people who are not safe, we are going to get hurt. And it is going to be painful. So that's another part of the puzzle piece, is having safe people to be vulnerable with. Does anger stem from fear? I would say yes, it's a protection, right? Because anger is a secondary emotion. The primary emotion is sadness. And so anger is the protection. So yes, it stems from fear as a protectant, in my view. Every single time I join Monday chat, I feel like you're talking. That's because we're all twinsies. We're all learning the same shit, PBR. That's because this is your tribe. Holly. That's a great question, Matt, for Holly. Carrie, welcome in. Okay. So, big indicator. I'm sure Matt, I haven't read it, but Holly, you said I'm using every tool in my toolbox to control the anger. Red, right here. Stop. Not about control. We're not controlling the anger. How can we honor the anger? How can we let the anger out in a healthy way? Have you done ball slams? Have you ran? Have you done scream therapy? Have you went to a rage room? Are those the things? We're not controlling the anger. The anger, if we try to control it and constrict it, it's just going to get tighter and wound up, and then it's going to come out in bursts. I love that you're safe at home, Carrie. You've never really associated trauma and triggers together? A lot of people have never used them separately. People I've thought were safe, some are proving otherwise. And that it's really tough to lose people that you think are safe. Going through that abandonment sucks. And that is the risk of being vulnerable, right? I think I've only felt little bits of those things in one group. It's amazing to feel a little relief. Fuck yes, G. Anger comes from beliefs. Beliefs come from stories based on experiences. I'm furious with myself and trying not to numb. Let me catch up because anger can absolutely be more than a protector. It can also be an exile, suppressed emotion too. Fight Club. Never thought about trying to honor the emotion. Fuck yeah. I love that. I can't release it constructively at the moment. So I like to look at anger as like if you have like a soda bottle and you shake the shit out of it, right? What's gonna happen? It's gonna be super tight and constricted, and then when you release the lid, it's gonna explode everywhere, right? Anger wants you to release it in small bits, honoring the feeling. Otherwise, it does feel like it's gonna explode. And so, let's think, is there something that you can do? Can you scream it into your pillow? Is jealousy a form of anger? No, I don't think so. I think it's more of fear. Yes, I agree with that, Matt. Yep, it's gonna fizz up. And I guess too, I would have a question of, are you giving yourself, making sense of the anger? Because anger makes sense. Rage makes sense, especially when we feel wronged or there's an injustice or anything like that. So are we dismissing, like, oh, we shouldn't be angry, or I'm so healed that I don't need to be angry? Because that sounds like a lot of shoulding on yourself. And I don't care how fucking healed you are, we're human. Yeah, most of our anger scares us. Why? Because we don't honor it and we bottle it up. And this is why we go to prison. This is why we yell at our kids. This is why we ruin our house. This is why our bodies are decaying. Because we don't honor it more often. And, you know, I believe that's for a lot of reasons. Why? First, we weren't shown what the fuck to do with anger. We were told to suppress it. So, of course, we would be suppressing it. Yes. Let's see. I tend to be very reactionary when I feel unheard and misunderstood. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if you feel like you might lose that person or that connection. But it is sucky to not feel heard or misunderstood. Also, if we're trying to prove, for me personally, when I'm trying to prove something to somebody and I feel misunderstood, I feel like I have to make them see. Which is my fear coming up. My fear that I'm gonna be the villain in the story, or that they might think bad thoughts about me, or all of that. We've been taught to fear and shame our anger. Yep, 100%. I try to control it because I don't want to seem like a bad person. Right, Paris, right? Because anger is bad. Anger, we're supposed to stay away from anger. No! Anger is beautiful and is necessary and essential. This is why I see in so many spaces, we're skipping this part. Especially, so guys, the first part of grief is anger. Y'all, if you've lost somebody, you've lost something, you've been wronged, you've went through trauma, you're gonna need to process grief, right? But if you're not allowing yourself anger, you're never actually gonna grieve. Rage is the voice of violated boundaries. It's actually the truth teller. It can show up in grief. Okay. Right, Jordan, especially Megan, if you've always felt unheard. Let's see. Rihanna, welcome in. If I missed you and you're new here, welcome in. Yes, I have the same thoughts. I got you, Megan. How is jealousy a form of fear? Fear that the other person might be better than us, that we might lose the connection with. Say, I like to give examples. So I went through something traumatic, right? There was an affair. My husband had an affair, and I had never experienced that kind of like comparing and jealousy before. And so now I'm dealing with that. I've been a pretty confident person, but it comes up now. Now I'm like, jealous. What does that mean? Oh, that means that I'm scared that my safety, my person might go away, might abandon me. And so I think jealousy is just, you know, there's a few things. It's fear that we're gonna lose people, fear that we're gonna be abandoned, fear that we're not enough, fear that we're too much. Fear is essential. I don't think fear is bad at all. I say that all the time on this platform. I think fear is looking to be validated. It makes sense. Make them see equals attempt to control, unable to sit in the discomfort of not being seen. Yes, Matt! Anger scares me because it meant physical danger was coming. Yeah, and again, it makes sense, right? That makes sense. Validating why it's scary for us. That's the first step, is just being aware of what the fuck is happening to us. I'm 28 messages behind y'all. I'm trying to catch up. Right, in the moment, Holly, it feels like it would be easier to just give up, right? But I have to remind myself I can't do that. But the thing is, you get the choice and you get to choose, right? And it is just as much work or more work if we think about how much we had to fight on the other side. Sitting in the uncomfortability and sitting in our emotions is shitty, but so is the other side. It's so much work on the other side also, to hold everything in, to keep it all in, that's so much work too. Jealousy is usually the fear of abandonment. I'm not good enough, insecure. Yes. I taught myself you can skip the anger phase if you just say whatever injustice was my own fault. Right, and we talked about that, overcompensating, and this, thank you, because that brings me back to triggers. So I'm gonna y'all are doing a fucking awesome job in the chat. If something goes missed and you have a question for me, let me know, because it's already 4:30 and I have barely even touched what the fuck we're talking about, because you guys are amazing. But avoiding the triggers so that we don't have to feel it, right? So a lot of us, one is we go into people pleasing. Why? Because we want to avoid triggering the other person and making them disappointed and the fear that they might leave. Oh, if I had to just boil everything down to a simple thing, all of what we do is for connection. Fear of abandonment is where our fear comes from. Fear of being alone, because we're created for connection. Okay, which part are you confused on, G? If I choose to give up, I fear I'll never come back. Valid fear, right? Yeah, because you've been down that road. You know how hard that road is. This is unpredictable. This is one of the reasons that we avoid these emotions, is because they're unpredictable. And going back feels easier because it feels familiar. We know what to expect there. We don't know what's in the future because we haven't done that yet. Yes, jealousy stems from insecurity, which stems from low self-esteem. So I don't like to phrase it that way, because I don't think these things are bad. I don't think jealousy is bad. I think it's an awareness of what's happening to us for a valid reason. And I don't think that means I love myself less. But I do think it's an awareness of, hey, what's happening? What's going on with me? Is it something that I need to work on myself? Am I loving myself the way that I need to be loved? Can a comment from someone trigger you? 100%. 100%. Anything can trigger you, to be honest. A smell, a color, a form of light, anything can be a trigger. I skipped him. Matt. Okay. This makes me feel like the most hurt and damaged dude on the planet. It hits home. And I work with a lot of women, and I love my women. I have a soft spot for men because I feel like women tend to get a lot more affection, a lot more care, physical touch than men, and men need that just as much. And men are emotional, and they do need so much. And that's not bad, it's beautiful. And the world just doesn't operate that way. It is now, we're working on it. Okay, so we only got to the amygdala, y'all. So the amygdala is your inner alarm system. The hippocampus, okay, is your time traveler. The hippocampus is the part that helps you remember when something happened. It tells your brain, that was back then, this is now. But when you're triggered and stress floods your system, the part of your brain that gets fuzzy. Okay? It gets fuzzy. So even when someone today, when something happens today, said something small, Megan, you were just asking about this, it might hit like a big betrayal from your past because your brain can't tell the difference in the moment. Okay? This is why some people are like, wow, you overreacted. You didn't overreact. Your body just remembered something that happened and your body went straight back there. Like it happened, like it is happening currently. Okay, so the prefrontal cortex is your wise, clear-headed self. Yes, you perfectly reacted because it makes sense. Your body went back to something that happened to you. And this is the part of understanding your triggers. Okay? And I love triggers. They're like little magic moments and opportunities to build deeper connection and for magic to happen. Because guess what? If we never get triggered, if we never get disconnected, then we don't get to reconnect. Okay, so the prefrontal cortex, your wise, clear-headed self, this is your rational, grounded voice. It's the part of you that can say, let's slow down, let's look at the big picture, what's going on. But when your nervous system is flooded, this part basically just logs off. It's all off. It's like trying to open a Calm app on your phone when it's at 1% battery. It just is not going to work, right? It's trying to, but it's just not registering. It's not working. That's why when you're triggered, you might snap, shut down, over-explain, or do something you later regret. You're not being dramatic. You're not being too much. You've just temporarily lost access to your calm, wise self. Which makes sense based on the shit that you have been through. Okay? First, I want to say that over and over and over tonight. Your triggers make sense. Your triggers make sense. What happens to your body makes sense. It's so valid based on what you've experienced. Before we move on to trying to logic our way out of it, it's so important to validate it. Okay? It makes sense. And it's there for a reason. Lauren, welcome in. Do activators ever go away? I believe that they can lessen, and some cannot have the same effect on you, depending on how much safety is created around it. Okay, so to me, a trigger, an activator, however you want to say it, is like, say I cut myself here, and it's like a really deep wound, right? Over time, skin will heal over that. Now, if I get cut there or scratch that part, it's exposed again. Okay? Which will make it hurt because it's exposed. So a trigger is like that wound getting reopened. Okay? I do believe that you can have new emotional experiences around something painful. I am not a believer of a forgive and one and done. I just don't. My experience clinically, professionally, personally, I don't believe they're one and dones. I don't believe that that's how we were created as humans. Yes, neuroplasticity is your best friend. See, now that gets me on the topic of like nutrition and how supporting your neuroplasticity in order for it to be pliable. If your body is rigid, right? If your mind is rigid, that means the acidity in your body is probably off. It's more acidic than it is alkaline. I could nerd out on that all day. Okay. Right, Matt? Thank you. And because, in fact, that wouldn't be smart of our bodies. Because it's there for a reason. That's the thing, you guys. These things are not bad. They're there for a reason. Okay? And it's this part I feel is like, we talk about shadow and we talk about our dark parts of ourselves. This is like seeing the dark parts of you and learning to dance with them and hug them. These are the things. These are the things. It's not about, okay, it reminds me of being a child. And if you were ever a child and you were told when you were hurting or crying or angry, go to your room. I'll give you something to cry about. That's like what we're doing to our emotions. But just like what we wanted as children, co-regulation, somebody being there for us, that's what our emotions still fucking want. The neurons have fired and wired, yep. But they don't have to dominate the reactions or responses. And that's, I feel like that's why having that new corrective emotional experience around something, around the thing, the core thing, the root thing, is what helps release and change that pattern over time. It just says this area is not safe. Yes, Lauren, the crafty bitch is embraced and still invited me to sit with. Yeah. We're always welcome and able to be resourced, but don't have to be automatic. Yes. And you guys, I'm not talking about that this is easy. I'm not saying, oh, you know, a trigger is great, so celebrate when you have a trigger. That's not gonna fucking happen, right? There's a process, and we've talked about this, of the baby steps of just being aware. Of the baby steps of just being aware. Okay. So when our sympathetic nervous system is activated, right? When our sympathetic nervous system is activated, right? When our fight happens, we either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I learned a new one. I'm adding it in. Fuck it. Right? Now, okay, what's happening to our body is we have a fuck ton of cortisol being pumped in. This is why you see people do crazy shit lifting a car when her kid's under there. Okay? Because you have a shit ton of cortisol being pumped through your body. Okay? Which, that is adrenaline. Okay? So you lose access to the rational thought. My triggering parts have a seat at the table, but they are her advisors, not decision makers. Yes! Triggers aren't necessarily good, just healthy. I don't think triggers are good or bad. I think it's just an indicator. Because you can have a trigger that doesn't necessarily lead to something negative per se. I have lots of triggers that when I smell coffee, it triggers like a soft warm blanket. Right? So, the polyvagal theory. So, 3 states: the ventral, which is safety and connection, the sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and then the dorsal, which is freeze or shut down. I don't know why it's glitching. I appreciate you guys for hanging on. It means you're simply alive. 100%. And so basically, like what Matt was talking about is the neuroplasticity, right? So you have these neural pathways. Basically, it's the way that your brain and body decided to keep you safe. However that looked for you. Okay, so I don't know how to help you guys with the glitches. I'm sorry. I'm on my right internet. I don't know. It's about triggers. So it's awareness, right? It's actually triggering me too. But why? Let's take a look at it, okay? This is a beautiful example. Let's stop. We're gonna take 3 deep breaths. And we're gonna just dive a little bit deeper on why it's triggering us. Okay? And we're gonna see where we feel that in our body. I got you, man. Okay? So we're gonna take 3 deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouth. And then this is a live example. We're just gonna sit with this. Okay? Okay, so for me, what came up is fear. It's triggering me because fear came up that you guys might miss something, that maybe people won't stay to hear what I'm talking about. Maybe I will be perceived differently because it's glitching. And so I forgot about all the animals in the background. And I felt it in my stomach. Like this anxious, nervous frustration. Control. I want to control the situation. I don't have control over TikTok. So it's out of my control. Right? And even a little bit, I'm shaking. Because while consciously I'm trying to be present, subconsciously I'm worried about how people are being able to be present in the live because it keeps glitching. Stomach, because I want to hear every word of this desperately. So I'm Googling neuroplasticity. Yes. Heather, welcome in. From Paris. Was it fear or shame of not being seen a certain way? For me, in here, Matt's in here. And so if we're being completely honest, it's like, is this gonna make me look less like I know what I'm talking about, less put together? Like, I wasn't logically thinking any of this shit, right? Until we just stopped to think about it. And I'm just saying what's coming up automatically. And these are all subconscious that were just there. Powerless. Powerless. Yes, Matt, that hit. You're not too late. You're just on time. Yeah, well, that's just what came up, Matt, because it's glitching, right? So, like, people are coming in, say they're just coming in on the FYP, and they're like, oh, this lady doesn't have her stuff together. That's like an old fear. I didn't, like, consciously think that was, but that's what came up. Loss of clarity and control during intimate conversations echoes certain past experiences for me. Thank you, G. I appreciate you. I love the awareness. What about you, Megan? Did you want to share what your experience was? Thanks, I'm not alone. And it is like, also, if I am sitting in reflection, the other day I was on Zoom and my Zoom wasn't working at all, right? And so that does come up. So that past feeling like I'm not put together, something like that. And again, that goes to an old pattern of trying to prove myself. And I recognize that, right? Like, frustration, fear of missing out. That makes so much sense, Megan. That fear of missing out, right? Yeah. That's real and so valid. But I also, like you, Amber, would not have pinpointed that without the intentional... Yeah. Thank you, Megan, for that, because for bringing that up and like communicating what you were feeling. We can talk about this shit. I can print this out. I can study this all fucking day. But if we don't put it into practice and we don't experience it, we could do this all day. We could talk about this shit all day. We can Google it. We can read 1,000 books, take 1,000,000 courses. If we don't put it into practice, if we do not experience it, we will just stay stuck with a lot of knowledge. I feel like for me, it started with identifying negative patterns of behavior. Then I could identify. We can't control others disappointed. Right. That can feel yucky, eh? Yes. Right? And that is part of this. All the shit that we talk about is that the safety. It's okay that somebody's disappointed. Now, what my brain and my body want to say from trauma is that disappointment leads to disconnection, abandonment, right? And in the past, it has. So that what comes up, that fear of disappointing others, is valid and makes sense. But I can stop, recognize that, and say, now I have safe connections where it's okay to disappoint people, and that's okay. And it's twofold. Some people might leave, but I have myself and I have safe people, right? Is it normal to not like people as you get older after experiences and trauma? Yes. It is, because most people's experience has been shitty with other people. This is also why I'm very adamant about helping people sit in this space of really, is it I don't like people, or I'm tired of being abandoned, and so I'm just going to protect myself from having to experience that. You don't have to do anything with that. It just, the awareness is important, right? But yeah, the more hurt and shit we've been through, the less we want to do that. And also, it's more so now, but it's very rare also to have safe connections and deep, authentic, real connections. And so for me, I'm blessed, and I have worked hard to create a community and a life where I have other safe people, right? But a lot of people maybe have one safe person. When I started this shit, I literally had one safe person, and that was my counselor. Triggers me. Yes, those one or two things that could heal me, when it's literally 10,000 things. No magic pill. But you would be incredibly surprised at how much a safe connection can change your life. Yeah, extreme reactions. I was usually able to identify a trigger. Yes. Okay, if I missed something, let me know, y'all, because hello. I had to skip. There was 40 messages. There is a lot to be said for having a safe space to speak freely. I appreciate this. Yes, I appreciate you. Okay, so you guys got to see it in real life. We were all triggered, right? And what did I have you guys do? I had you guys come back to your body. Where do you feel that in your body? Why? Because really it has nothing to do with the other person, but what's going on with us. And while it's so important to get validation from other people, it is essential to be able to validate ourselves as well. Okay? And so checking in with your body when you have experienced trauma, and I'll say this, what I have experienced is when you have experienced sexual trauma, especially, there is an extreme disconnect from your body, right? Because you have had to literally leave your body in order to survive, okay? So know and understand that if you've experienced that, it makes so much sense to have a hard time connecting to your body and where you feel that. A lot of times when you're beginning to feel, okay, feeling is not in your brain. Feeling is in your body. Okay? When you start, a lot of people will say they feel it in their head. And this is a really good indicator for you or other people if they say, oh, I feel that in my head, my brain, is that they haven't really been able to connect to their body. That's not bad. It's just, it makes sense to what they've been through. Oh, I'm glad, Paris. Thinking parts. My men love their heads. I know. I was going to say that, Matt, is most men. And this is, you know, I do think that this is partly a programmed thing, is men have been taught and programmed to not be in their body, right? The body keeps a score. I've read that book probably 3 or 4 times. I love that book. Welcome in, everybody. Okay. Paris. Okay. Does anybody have questions before we continue? I appreciate you guys. Does anybody have questions before we go in? Send them, PBR. I don't think it's a dirty mind. I think that that's just a normal reaction. I like to normalize sexuality too. It's such a taboo topic. How does one build or assist that neuroplasticity? I'm sure Matt has some things to say on this too. 100%. Yes, Jess. But so it's like a pathway of you've done something happens and this is your reaction. And then so when you repeat that pattern over and over again, right? It creates like a track, okay? And so when you're triggered, you react the same, and then it just makes that pathway deeper and deeper, right? And so it just is automatic at this point in how you react. And so creating new neural pathways, there is some, Ducky, welcome in. There is ways like a muscle. For me, it's a muscle, right? So when you're building any new muscle, it takes baby steps. So for all my clients, all my people, for me, is about awareness first. Is literally just being aware. Because this pathway is so automatic now, by the time you understand that it happened, it's already happened. Okay? And so it takes a while to catch yourself before you start running the track. Okay? This is not like a simple do this, right? Now, also I will add that I'm a firm believer, if you don't give your body the essential nutrients it needs, then, and your body is very acidic, there is not room for elasticity, whether that's in your muscles or in the neuroplasticity, okay? And so, there's a lot of things that can help with that, right? There's meditation, making sure that you're getting nutrients in therapeutic range, all of these things. I think that there is not one answer, because we're going to say it, everything is connected. Okay? And so I feel, I truly believe that you can begin to work on it any side of where you are. Meaning you could start working on it in your nutrition, or you could start working on it emotionally, all of that. Low cortisol can thin your hair, and I know high cortisol, like too much cortisol. I would have to look that up. I don't know that offhand. Also, if your cortisol is flipped, it can cause a lot of imbalances. The first thing that comes to my mind, Paris, around the cortisol is actually your hormones and nutrients. Any books specifically geared towards that, like neuroplasticity? So let me ask what the root is of what you're interested in. Thank you, guys. Helping my brain get out of the loop. Okay. So what I kind of want to say to this, and Matt can chime in, Jess can chime in, anybody can chime in. I think it is very, very, very easy to spiral into healing burnout and want to absorb as much information. I just was looking at his courses today, Matt. But what I will say is, okay, I'm going to close my eyes because I feel like this is important, and so I get distracted. I believe that creating safety is so important first. I think it is important to learn. I love all the books, all the courses. I think they're essential and so important. I also really feel like having somebody safe in your corner, whether that's a therapist, a counselor, a coach, somebody to provide safety, to help you make sense and validate what is happening to you, and to answer questions and to guide you as you're getting this new information, right? Because the goal is to implement and integrate what we're taking in. And if we're just reading book after book, and I speak from personal experience, if we're just continuing to read and read and read and take courses, but we're not actually applying that into our lives, like what you guys just saw, we got triggered at the TikTok, we stopped, we felt it. That is what we need to be doing. It's a muscle. And so I would say, actually, if you're asking my advice, I would find somebody you feel that resonates with you and start working with them. And baby steps. I would say, really, somatics, paying attention to what the fuck happens to your body. And then getting curious, asking yourself a lot of questions. Because you need another course. And I speak from experience. This is me. Ducky, I have a 30-minute breakthrough session. It's free. It's 30 minutes. It's just one-on-one. For those types of things, I feel like that would be a better one-on-one conversation. So what I'm doing is my aim is to create 500 breakthroughs for people. And so it's a free 30-minute session. the link is in my link tree, and so you can just go schedule that. I feel like that would be better one-on-one. And like, again, I said it's free, right? Dancing. I literally was just looking at his course books today. I'm not gonna even lie. Okay. Courses are just a distraction and procrastination tactic for me from doing the deeper embodied work. Yes, Matt. Same. And I'm not saying they're bad. I love courses. I love books. Okay? I'm not saying that they're bad. But what I've learned is a lot of people, especially type A, especially hyper independent, and especially we like to learn and understand, and we feel like maybe this book is going to help us. Maybe this is the missing piece. Maybe this is the key that will help us. But like what Matt said, is doing the deeper embodied work, just like we did here. Feeling it. Sitting in the uncomfortable. Being triggered and sitting in it. What the fuck does that feel like? Being vulnerable. What does that even mean? Right, VBR? Okay. And the implementation seems so easy, but the reality is it's simple and not easy. Yes. And to go with that, something that I've learned, and you guys, Jess is amazing. I'm a coach who has lots of coaches. Okay. I'm a firm believer in coaches, and Jess is my coach. I have, I think, 3 coaches right now. That's how much I believe in coaching. Okay. Coaching, therapy, counseling, whatever you want to call it. I group them together. It's so easy that it's easy to not do it. Because also we are addicted to struggle. We feel like it has to be hard in order to be valuable. Just like we feel like if we're not struggling, we're not producing value. No, seriously, a job I had for 9 years, I worked for a man that, oh, wow. Swanky, welcome in. Hit the orange arrow? What does that mean? What's the orange arrow, Ryan? Thanks, Matt. And, Matt, it's on my to-do list to make sure to fix whatever the fuck was happening with the, the schedule, so Matt can join us on a Monday night. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you guys want Matt to come up here and share? My 1's in the chat. Am I allowed to share books in the Discord via PDF? Fuck yeah. I think we even have a resource area. But simple doesn't mean not effective. Exactly. And in fact, again, that's where like the fucked up programming that we have, like, it's backwards, right? Love equals pain. That's what we're taught. And then struggle is supposed to equal more effective. And it doesn't always. Okay, now Matt, you're talking my language on training. Like pew pew training. Okay, so don't get me started on that. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. 1000%. Charlene, welcome in. Okay, I got that. I have so much alone time I've had to sit with it. Yep, Swanky's here. All right, Matt, everybody wants you to come up. I'm just gonna really check the link. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay. I'm catching up. Thank you, Jess. awesome. Oops. Oh, sorry, Faith. Bye, Matt. Thank you. Okay, you're not behind exactly where you need. That's right. Thank you. Okay, we're at 5:12. Awesome questions. Okay. So, if your body still reacts, it's because it believes you are worth protecting. Can we just stop there for a second? What? If your body still reacts, it's because it believes you are still worth protecting. Matt, do you go live every night? Right? Your trigger is a younger version of you asking, can we do it differently this time? It's saying, hey, can we have a redo? I'm going to do a whole live on redos. I love redos. Oh, shit. Let me write that down. Monday through Friday. 9. Aussie time? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Thank you, Swinky. Okay, so curiosity over criticism. Instead of, why am I like this? Aw, thank you, Swinky. Yeah, it is. I believe so. Thank you, Swinky. I appreciate you. Thank you. Easy trigger traces back to a part of me that I thought wasn't enough. Yeah. Every trigger. Yeah. Is it not enough or is it sometimes too much? I'm curious because mine sometimes is too much. Isn't the enemy? It's shame asking to be seen. Yes, I love that. Beautiful. Melanie, welcome in. I'm not gonna lie, Matt, I thought you said like Cadbury eggs. Okay, I was just curious. So curiosity over criticism. Okay. Instead of why am I like this? What is this trying to show me? What still needs care or validation here? What still needs love around this area? Deborah, welcome in. Triggers aren't flaws. They're flashlights. Triggers aren't flaws. They're flashlights. You don't need to avoid triggers. You just need to validate them. The tool is to learn how to sit in it and feel the uncomfortable. This is why we've been talking about the difference between safety and comfortable, because so many times we confuse not being safe with being uncomfortable. And flow. Avoiding a trigger keeps you stuck in the same pattern because it's inevitable that it's going to come up. Again, you cannot control your triggers. You cannot control all of your triggers. You can damn well attempt to. This will also create a lot of resentment and isolation, and it still won't produce what you're seeking. I want to be very clear in what I'm talking about. I am not talking about removing yourself from an unsafe situation or an unhealthy situation that is causing you to be unhealthy. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about here. So, G, you were asking about how to rewire that, right? Leaning in with presence rewires the system, because doing something different than you've always done. This is why I say even just beginning to recognize when it happens is something different. It's a pattern interrupt. And I love pattern interrupts because they begin to change the course. Okay. The 5 R's of trigger recovery. And it shakes things up. And it's not recovery, it's just a new way of being, okay? Recognize I'm triggered. How old do I feel? How old do I feel? Why do we ask that? I am a firm believer that most triggers come from our past, our childhood. And that's a huge indication of what took place in your life around that age, G. And that's, G, I think like I would say the pendulum has shifted, right? Emotion, you say emotion dumping, now you're alone. What you're looking for, so it was hyper or in the realm of labels, which I don't like, but for simplicity, codependent, independent, okay? What we're looking for is interdependent, which is the middle ground, which is some of both. Matt can't stay away. He loves us. Welcome back, Matt. Okay, so recognize I'm triggered. How old am I? How old do I feel? Send it, Matt. Regulate, breathe, ground, tap, exhale. You're right. Thank you for pointing that out, Matt. What I'm doing is I'm thinking if I want to open that back up or wait till June. We're in April. Yes, there's nothing available until June. And I'll be talking a little bit more about this at the end before we close. But I will be on sort of a sabbatical. Okay, I'll message you. I'll message you. Oh, really? Weren't you able to earlier? Message Matt. Okay. I appreciate you. Is there a difference between irritating things that trigger us per se and ones connected to our what's MA? Like trauma? I want to make sure I'm understanding your question, Mom. Is there a difference between irritating things? Oh, okay, or trauma. Okay. Is there a difference? Is there a difference between irritating things that trigger us and one's connected to trauma? What I'm trying to think about is, say, like, for me, I always like to pull it back to me, is that when there are too many noises or loud noises or too many people touching me all at once, I don't believe that that is directly from a specific trauma, but I believe that my nervous system is on overdrive, which is from being in constant fight or flight and being in sympathetic mode. And that is traumatic to our body. Does that make sense? So I think that okay. So I don't think everything is directly linked back to an identical moment, but I do believe that the trauma and the effect itself that it has on our body does stem from a lot of that. I'm not saying 100%. Georgia, welcome in. Thank you. But that's what I would say about that. Okay, so the 5 R's of being triggered. Being aware. Recognize, I'm triggered. How old do I feel? Regulation, which grounding, breathe, ground, tap, exhale. Right? This brings us to the present moment. This is a pattern interrupt. This is why you'll hear people who are like disassociating. They say, or they tell them to like walk outside where on the cold pavement, or putting their hands in ice or their face in ice. It's your vagus nerve, right? It's a shock to your system that says, hey, you're in the present moment. So it's bringing literally, because your body can't tell the difference if you're right here in the present moment or your body is in the past and what happened, right? Because actually your body is reliving those moments and is in the past. So you need to remind your body, shit, we're right here, right? So you need that pattern interrupt, that shock to your system to remind you. That's so your 5 senses, you could use any of your 5 senses. When you're able to do that and you're in the present moment, you can ask questions after you've I do think that there is a missing part of the validation. And I think we could get rid of all the rest of the shit and just recognize I'm triggered and how old do I feel, and then validate and literally stay there for a bit. Like, we don't even need to get to the rest of this shit. Because that's what we do. We're like, how can we homework this away? Teach me a new method, a new tool to make this go away so I can move through it. Right? No. Slow the fuck down. I'm speaking to myself, okay? I know, me too. I tried. Exactly what my trauma therapist said 5 p.m. today. Get back to now when you're going down. Yeah, but I feel like the validation part is missing. Right? Is making sense of why we're doing this. This is why the question, how old do I feel? How old do I feel? Now, again, like Dawn is saying, I think that it's important. This is why I just believe in having a safe person, even if it's fucking one person. And while a therapist is great and coaches, they're great, creating space where you have somebody that you could reach out to often. Because if we're being real, seeing somebody once a month is not real. Madeline, we love ChatGPT. Yes. And Jordan, yes. Which makes sense, Megan. We get in ruts and it takes a while to sift it out. Yeah. Our body is like, is this safe? Wait, this seems familiar. Is this going to happen to me again? Is this person really safe? I don't have my person, and I'm afraid this dump on anyone after losing my daughter. First, I just want to say, G, that there is no timeline for healing and how much you may need to grieve and talk about that. So anybody that is tired of hearing about that is a huge indicator for me that they don't know how to be there for you and they don't know how to sit with their own uncomfortability. And boundaries are great. We have amazing humans in this community where you reach out and they'll let you know, hey, I can be here for you. This is how I can show up for you. We also ask, hey, do you have space for me to share right now? I have some amazing friends too. What's NC? Oh, no contact? That's the same difference to me, G. That is almost, to be honest, it's harder to, there's no closure in that. That's an ongoing grief. I know, Megan, it's so frustrating. This journey is frustrating as fuck. Sometimes multiple emotions and events can be tied and take longer to sort through. 100%. I visualize sitting with it instead of sitting in it. Not sure. Oh, I love that. Okay, so to me, Lauren, what I hear, and I love that, is because when I think about my fear, it's like fear and I are riding, we're taking a drive, right? Fear is essential to come with me on my adventures, but fear has to sit in the back seat. It's not driving. So that's kind of how I see it. Sit with me. Like, we're having a conversation. This is huge. So Jess is amazing for personifying things, okay? So a trigger, say, take the technology trigger that we had today, okay? And say, I'm going to make this that trigger, okay? And so I'm going to talk to this trigger. I could give it a name. Does it have a smell? All of that. And then I can say, hey, trigger, what happened? Like, how old are you? Where did you start? When we can like separate it from us per se and sit with it, we can get curious about it. I love that, Lauren. Oh, okay. I trauma dumped on my child. Now I'm afraid in real world to tell anyone. That makes so much sense. That's valid. Thank you for clarifying, G. What I hear is that she was the safest person that you had in your life. And at that time, you didn't understand. And now that you know how that affects her, you don't do that. But you also deserve to have a safe person to talk to. Same, Jordan. Personifying things really helps my brain to sort it out and make sense of what it... Yes, me too. I learned that from Jess. And both can be true at the same time, G. Yes. And we didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know. I did the same thing, sweetie. Same thing. This is part of why I do what I do. My mom and dad dumped on me sometimes. It's a lot. Right. Wait, whoa. Why are you sorry? So do you feel too, like you shared too much? You're taking up too much space right now, G? Right, Jordan. It's emotion. They're making you responsible for their emotions. Take up space, sis. Take up space. Okay? And we like to say thank you instead of sorry. Thank you for allowing me to take up space and listening, because you matter and your feelings matter. I hope that you receive and join our Discord, because there's a lot of people in there and a lot of awesome connections. Right, because we've always been told that we're too much extra, and that's so damaging. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to communicate that, and you're not too much for us, because we're all fucked up here. So all of our personalities come out and play. And it's okay to take up space, to be a lot, to not be enough. It's okay to not be okay. I love you, Ryan. I am definitely extra and I own it. I'm learning to own it. But right, there's a lot of guilt and shame tied up into that, right, G? But this is part of that, first little taste of what it feels like to not be judged and to just be loved where you are. And it is okay for you to take up space. Okay. I'm just going to show you guys that I didn't make it up. Dr. Siegel. And this is what I love that. Awesome. Jordan's had a discovery call. Holly has had, a lot of people in here have had one. So they can attest to how they felt about it. Happily, was that agitated? Robin, welcome in. So there's a few things that I want to remind you. Megan has I want you to listen. You're not reacting to the person. I'm going to say that again because it fucking froze. You're not reacting to the person. You're reacting to the pattern. You're not reacting to the person. You're reacting to the pattern. This is why sometimes it does not make sense on why you freak the fuck out and have no idea. You're like, this isn't connected to anything. 100% it is. Because your body, there may not have been another incident like that with this person, but your body remembers some time in your past that it felt this way. Okay? You're allowed to pause, to stay present, and meet yourself with softness. Triggers are proof that you're healing. You're not behind. you're ready. Yeah, right. Because to other people, what happens is our message gets lost in our reaction. Our message gets lost in our reaction. Because again, like we were talking about earlier, anger, right? Anger is what comes out first. When really what we're trying to communicate is sadness or a need. And so, first, if we don't know what the fuck we need, if we don't understand what's happening to us, how in the fuck is somebody else supposed to understand? Yeah, for all of us, Megan. It's yeah. Then I start to over explain loop. It's tears for me, not anger. Regret. Even regret is misunderstood. The over explaining, right? Loop is I lashed out, don't leave me. In my opinion, from my experience, it's the the pursuer trying to keep the connection. Don't leave me. I'm grasping at straws. Don't leave me. Say, and this is not 100%, it's just what we're taking on in that moment is if you are pursuing and you have a withdrawer who's withdrawing emotionally, then you become even more what is the word I want to use? You become bigger, louder, more aggressive. I don't think there is such a thing as overly emotional. I think that all of our emotions make sense and they come from somewhere. We just haven't experienced very many people that validate them. And we also don't validate them. And so this is why if it keeps happening, right? We have a need that's not being met and we have no idea how to get that need met. This is why we will start manipulating. We will start being mean, aggressive, controlling, because we're trying to get that need met and we don't know how. Right. Oh, so that brings me to this. Where is it? I wanted to read something. Bear with me for a second. Oh, you're welcome, PBR. Certified Trauma Life Coach, man. We would have loved to have you in here a little bit ago. But welcome in. There's something that I wanted to... Where the fuck is it? I love that, G. I wanted to talk really fast about the avoidant. Oh, maybe it was not in there. Hold on. Ah, I can't find it. Welcome to the tribe. Okay. If I missed something, you guys just let me know. There was something where I felt like it was really important. Because it was just what we were talking about. Not meant to be. Okay. Must be for another live. I know. It was talking about attachments, and it was talking about avoidant and anxious and how they dance together. But they said it in a way that I hadn't read before, and I wanted to share that. But I guess it's not meant to be. Okay. So, Just G, to answer, I wish I could watch this over and over again. I am in the process of downloading these videos and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. So I will have them. I'm not sure if it's put them up on YouTube quite yet. But so you can bug me about it. It'll come to me around midnight. I will. I'll share it in the Discord. Avoidance and anxious attachment styles are rooted by the same wounds. Yes. And the thing about that is also most anxious attachments, and you guys will hear me talk a little bit about this as far as like labeling. I really try to avoid it, but for simplicity and understanding, I feel like it helps because it's not like a one size fits all. And I believe that we go back and forth, and definitely depending on the situation and everything like that. The anxious is don't leave me, like pulling in, right? And the withdrawal is like you're suffocating me. I don't know what to do with this. It's withdrawal is like you're suffocating me. I don't know what to do with this. It's a lot for me. I can't process that. And so what you get is this dynamic of the more that the anxious moves towards in an unsafe way, right? The withdrawer will continue to emotionally withdraw, and so they'll move like this. And this is why both are shut down and don't feel safe. And there's a lot. G, I know that I can help you in this area. I've helped my own experience, a lot of people. This is what I'm so passionate about, is helping people learn how to connect with themselves and others, especially their kiddos. I have she'll be 23 this year, a daughter, a 3-year-old grandson, and then I have a 13-year-old son. He'll be 13 this year. And so not only do I have like clinical experience, I have personal experience in all of this shit. Like you guys heard me, I've been through a lot of trauma myself, especially this last year or 2 years now. And so I speak from experience. Yeah, Megan, that makes so much sense. And understanding that dynamic and how that works, and the way to stop the cycle, right? That's the goal, is to stop the cycle. Bye, Ryan. Love you guys. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Again, check out the breakthrough session. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. Got to go means got to go. Stop the cycle. Shout out to my mods. Val, welcome in. We're actually closing. We're gonna get done. Jay, thank you for staying, for being vulnerable and sharing. And I look forward to connecting with you some more. Thank you. Shout out to my mods. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate you. Remember, fuck perfect and connection over perfection. I will see you Wednesday, 4 to 6 for Art Wednesday. Have an amazing fucking day. And thank you guys. Bye.